Welcome to the deep dive. If you're looking at the Canadian housing market right now, well, it feels less like a market and more like, I don't know, a financial obstacle course.
It really does. You've got high interest rates, these huge down payments needed, plus the mortgage stress test hanging over everything. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's overwhelming. And we see that complexity leading to people just freezing up, right? So
Mhm.
our goal today is straightforward. Take all these sources and insights and turn that mess into a clear, strategic map for potential Canadian homebuyers.
And that map is crucial because, the data really shows where things go off track. We found this stat, and it's pretty shocking, honestly. In 2023, only about 17% of eligible Canadians actually maxed out the homebuyers plan, the HBP.
Only 17%. Wow.
Yeah, that means the vast majority, like 83%, are basically leaving serious money and help on the table. The issue isn't that people don't know these things exist. It's the precision. It's understanding the exact sequence to use these tools together to get the maximum benefit without, you know, accidentally triggering a big tax bill.
Precision, right. Because timing is everything with the CRA, isn't it? Get it wrong, and what looked like savings suddenly becomes taxable income.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've structured this deep dive around three, let's say, essential layers for building a solid strategy over several years. Layer one, maximizing those tax advantage savings, looking hard at the FHSA versus the HBP.
Mm,
Then layer two, we shift to the debt itself, smart mortgage structure, particularly focusing on that amortization choice.
the 25 versus 30-year question. Yeah.
Exactly. And finally, layer three, the safety net. We're talking insurance. Wills protecting the huge asset you're working so hard to get.
Makes sense. It's a logical flow.
So let's dive into layer one, savings. The FHSA, the first home savings account, has been talked about a lot since it came out. What actually makes it so powerful compared to, say, just using a TFSA or an RRSP?
Well, it really is unique. It's got this dual power, as some call it. It basically combines the best bits of the other two main accounts. So when you put money in the FHSA, your contributions are tax deductible, just like an RRSP, right? Lowers your taxable income right away.
Okay, deduction up front. Got it.
But here's the game changer bit. When you take the money out for a qualifying home purchase, the original money you put in plus all the investment growth comes out completely tax-free.
Wait, so tax break going in and tax break coming out.
Exactly. It's the only registered account in Canada that gives you both ends of that tax benefit. Nothing else does that.
That upfront deduction is like getting an instant return from the government via your tax refund, boosting your down payment savings.
Precisely. And timing that contribution matters. You ideally want to contribute in your highest income years.
Right, because the deduction is worth more then.
Exactly. It seems a bit counterintuitive. Maybe people might wait until they need the money. But think about it. If you're in, say, a 30% marginal tax bracket, putting in the maximum $8,000 gets you $2,400 back as a refund pretty much immediately.
And that $2,400 can go straight back into savings, speeding things up.
Right. It just accelerates the whole process. It's disciplined saving with an immediate reward.
And the money inside the FHSA doesn't just have to sit there, right? It can be invested.
Oh, absolutely. It needs to be invested to really harness the power of that tax-free growth. The sources had a great example, Jamal. He put in the max over 5 years, so $40,000 total contributions.
Okay.
But because he invested it wisely within the account, it grew to $51,200. That's over $11,000 in pure investment growth.
And that growth part was tax-free too.
Completely tax-free. The whole $51,200 contributions in growth withdrawn tax-free. Plus, he got those tax refunds each year he contributed. It's a massive leverage.
Okay, that sounds almost too good to be true. You mentioned precision earlier. What's the catch? What's the critical pitfall with the FHSA withdrawal?
The timing and the paperwork.
Mhm.
The CRA demands, well, absolute precision here. You must have a signed agreement to buy or build a qualifying home before you withdraw. And you need to coordinate that withdrawal date very carefully with your actual closing date.
And if you mess that up, or
Mhm.
just decide not to buy a house.
Then the entire amount you withdraw instantly becomes taxable income for that year. Poof.
Well,
Tax benefit disappears and you could face a big bill. So follow the rules exactly.
got it. Precision is key. So FHSA first, best option tax deduction now, tax-free later. But what if that's still not quite enough for the down payment? Then we look at the older home buyers plan, the HBP, using your RRSP funds. How is that fundamentally different?
The absolute key difference is repayment. The HBP lets you borrow up to $60,000 now from your RRSP for a down payment. But it's not a gift. It's not tax-free like the FHSA withdrawal. It's structured explicitly as a loan. from your future self.
A loan from future you,
Yeah,
okay? And
yeah.
there's a repayment plan.
Yes, and it's mandatory.
Yeah.
You have 15 years to pay that money back into your RRSP. Repayments start in the second year after you make the withdrawal.
15 years. Okay, on top of a new mortgage payment, plus property taxes, everything else, that adds a real strain to the budget, doesn't it?
It definitely does, and you
Yep.
have to factor that in.
What if you just can't make a payment 1 year? Or forget.
If you miss a required repayment for a given year, that amount gets added directly to your taxable income for that year,
Mhm.
which, kind of defeats the purpose of using the RRSP money in the first place.
Ouch, okay. So the sequence matters hugely.
Hugely. Max out the FHSA first, that's tax-free money, no strings attached for payback. Only then, if you still need more, consider the HBP. Treat it as a supplement, maybe even a last resort, because you're borrowing from your retirement.
Right, and maybe even do a test run of your budget with that HBP repayment included before you withdraw, just to be sure you can handle it.
That's very smart planning, yes. And just stepping back for a second on Layer 1 savings, it's good to remember how the other accounts fit in the picture too.
Good point. We've got the TFSA tax-free savings account and the RRSP, the Registered Retirement Savings Plan. Quick reminder on how they stack up against the FHA HBP.
Sure. Think FHSA is specialized for the first home. TFSA is ultimate flexibility. Contributions aren't deductible, but all the growth and withdrawals are tax-free anytime, any reason. Great for emergency funds, medium-term goals.
Okay.
RRSP, dedicated retirement savings. You get the tax deduction now like the FHSA, but all withdrawals later in retirement are fully taxable income. So it's often best for people earning high incomes now who expect to be in a lower tax bracket later.
Makes sense. And underneath all these personal savings tools, there's the basic foundation, the Canada Pension Plan, CPP.
Right, CPP is the mandatory base layer. But, and this is important, it's generally not enough on its own for a comfortable retirement. The average payout is actually only around $900 a month.
900, wow.
Yeah, and it's fully taxable. So think of it as the concrete slab. Your FHSA, TFSA, RRSP, that's the house you have to actively build on top of it.
Okay, layer 1, saving strategy, check. Down payment secured. Now layer 2, managing the actual debt, the mortgage. This is where that 25 versus 30-year amortization comes in. Why are so many people, especially first-time buyers, tempted by the 30-year option?
It's simple. Immediate cash flow relief. Lower monthly payments. Stretching it out makes the required payment smaller each month. On a, say, $500,000 mortgage, going from 25 to 30 years could lower your payment by nearly $300 a month.
$300 a month. That can make a real difference, especially for qualifying under the stress test rules, right? Sometimes it's the only way to get approved for the house you need.
Exactly. It provides that immediate breathing room. That's the appeal.
But there's always a but, isn't there? What's the hidden long-term cost of that breathing room? Using that $500,000 mortgage example, maybe at a 5% interest rate.
The trade-off is, well, it's staggering when you see the numbers. If you stick with that 30-year schedule instead of 25, the total interest you pay over the life of the loan jumps massively. We're talking roughly $372,000 in interest over 25 years versus nearly $400,000 to $66,000 over 30 years.
Whoa. That's
Yeah.
almost an extra $100,000.
Almost an extra $100,000 paid straight to the lender in interest, just for that lower monthly payment early on.
That $100,000 could be retirement savings, education funds, gone. Okay, so if someone has to take the 30-year term initially just to qualify, they absolutely need an escape plan, an off-ramp, right? How do they avoid that massive extra cost?
Absolutely critical. You have to treat the 30-year term like a temporary bridge, not the final road. There are three main strategies to deploy from day one. First, attack the principal using prepayment privileges.
Like making extra lump sum payments.
Exactly. Most mortgages let you pay down a certain percentage, often 10–20% of the original principal each year, without penalty. Use every tax refund, every bonus, any extra cash you find, throw it directly at the principal. Especially early on, it makes a huge difference.
Okay, strategy 1, lump sums. What's strategy 2?
Switch your payment frequency. Instead of paying monthly, switch to accelerated weekly or biweekly payments.
How does that help? Is it just smaller chunks more often?
It's a bit more clever than that. When you pay half your monthly payment every 2 weeks, biweekly accelerated, you end up making 26 half payments a year. That equals 13 full monthly payments, not 12.
Ah, so you sneak in one extra payment each year without really feeling it as much.
Precisely. And that entire extra payment goes straight to reducing the principal. It shaves years off the mortgage and saves a ton of interest, often without a major hit to your monthly budget feel.
That's smart, kind of using compound interest against the bank. Okay, and the third strategy.
Be proactive at renewal time. Your mortgage term will likely be shorter, maybe 5 years. When it's time to renew, don't just sign up for the remaining, say, 28 years. Actively choose to shorten the amortization back down. Renew onto a 25-year schedule, or even 20 if your income has grown, and you can handle the slightly higher payment.
Right. Use that renewal point as a chance to reset and get back on a faster track.
Exactly. Lock in those long-term savings.
Okay, solid debt strategy. That brings us to layer 3, the safety net. You've got the savings plan, you've got the mortgage plan. Now you need to protect it all. Once you have a mortgage, your ability to earn income is basically your biggest asset.
Without a doubt.
So, disability insurance. Why is this so critical, yet maybe often overlooked by homeowners?
People just don't think it'll happen to them.
Yeah.
That's the main reason. But the stats are pretty stark. About 1 in 3 working Canadians will experience a disability lasting 90 days or more at some point in their career.
1 in 3. That's high.
It is. And if you think, oh, the government will cover me, think again. CPP disability, on average, pays out only around $1,000 a month.
$1,000.
Yeah.
That wouldn't even cover property taxes in many places, let alone the mortgage payment.
Not even close. That's why long-term disability insurance, or LTD, is so essential. It's designed to replace a significant chunk of your income, often 60–70%, usually right up until age 65 if needed. It ensures the mortgage gets paid, the lights stay on, even if you can't work. You insure your house against fire, right? You absolutely must insure the income that pays for the house first.
That's a powerful way to put it. Okay, following that logic, life insurance. If the worst happens, you want the mortgage paid off so your dependents aren't left with the debt. For a new homeowner, what type of life insurance makes the most sense?
For most new homeowners, especially younger ones whose main goal is covering that mortgage debt, term insurance is usually the way to go.
Why term specifically?
Because it's straightforward and generally the most affordable. You buy coverage for a specific period, the term, say, 25 or 30 years, to match the length of your mortgage. If you pass away during that term, the insurance pays out, ideally enough to clear the mortgage debt. Simple, effective protection.
What about other types, like whole life or universal life?
Those are permanent policies. They last your whole life and usually build up some cash value over time, sometimes with investment components. But they are significantly more complex and much, much more expensive than term insurance. If the primary goal is just making sure the house is paid off, if you die unexpectedly during your working years, term often provides the most bang for your buck.
Got it. Cover the need efficiently. Okay, finally, the foundational piece of the safety net, the will. Nobody likes talking about it, but why is having a valid will absolutely non-negotiable, especially once you own property?
Because dying without one, the legal term is dying intestate, creates utter chaos for the people you leave behind. It means you have zero say in who gets what. The government, through provincial laws, dictates how your assets, including your house, are divided.
And that might not be what you wanted at all.
Almost certainly not. Plus, it causes huge delays. Settling an intestate estate can easily take 12, even 24 months or longer. There can be family disputes over assets, and significant legal and administrative fees end up eating away at the value of what you leave behind.
And if you have kids?
This is critical. If you have minor children, your will is the only legal document where you name the guardians you want to raise them if something happens to you and any other parent. Without a will, a court decides guardianship. You need a will, full stop, and review it regularly every 3 to 5 years or after any major life event like buying a home, getting married, having kids.
It's clear these layers aren't separate silos. The FHSA impacts the mortgage amount, the mortgage impacts the insurance need, the will protects the whole thing. It all has to work together.
Absolutely. It requires integrated planning. And speaking of things that impact the whole picture, we should quickly touch on one more thing that erodes wealth across all these accounts. Investment fees.
Ah, yes, the silent killer of returns. The sources really hammered this point. How big a deal are fees over the long run?
They are a massive deal. It might seem small, like 1% or 2% a year, but over decades, it's huge. Let's take that $100,000 investment again over 30 years. If you're paying, say, 1.20% in fees versus someone paying just 0.20%, that seemingly small 1% difference.
Yeah, how much does it cost?
It means the person paying the higher fee ends up with nearly $187,000 less money after 30 years.
Wow, $187,000 just gone to fees.
Gone. It's a permanent drag on your growth. That's why minimizing fees Using low-cost index funds, or ETFs, which can often have fees under 0.1%, is so incredibly important for long-term wealth building in your FHSA, RRSP, even TFSA.
Okay, so pulling all this together, the tax strategy with FHSC, HBP, the smart mortgage amortization, the insurance safety net, the estate planning with a will, and keeping investment costs low that requires a really comprehensive view. It's a lot for one person to juggle perfectly.
It really is. And that's where getting professional guidance can be invaluable, especially to ensure that precision we talked about, particularly with things like the FHFA rules.
Right. And if you, our listener, feel you need that kind of integrated help to put this strategic map into action, the sources highlighted Muneris Financial Services.
That's right. Muneris Financial Services. They've been based in Vancouver since 1995, and they specialize in exactly this kind of thing: integrated investment management, retirement planning, and tax strategy. They handle the whole suite. Investments, including setting up and managing HSAs, RRSPs, TFSAs. They do life and group insurance, disability, critical illness. And they help with estate planning, including wills.
So they can basically help connect all the dots we've discussed today.
Exactly. They offer that comprehensive planning.
Okay, so if you want to reach out to them for that kind of professional guidance, the number for Muneris Financial Services is 778-898-3202.
And they're located at 612-1327 East Keith Road in North Vancouver, BC. The postal code is V7J3T5. You can also email them at mansour@muneris.com. That's MANSOUR at Muneris, MUNERIS.com.
Great. So to quickly recap the winning strategy we've mapped out, it's about smart layering FHSA first for savings. It's about aggressive debt management, having that off-ramp plan for your mortgage to avoid the $100 interest trap. And it's about critical risk protection disability insurance and absolutely having a valid will.
Well summarized. And maybe let's end with a bit of a challenge or a provocative thought for everyone listening. We've talked about the huge costs of not planning actively. That potential $100,000 in extra interest, the missed $60,000 HBP opportunity, the chaos of not having a will. So given that need for precision and active planning, what is one single concrete step you can take today? Not next week, not next month, today, to move from just listening and learning to actually doing? Is it opening that FHSA online right now? Is it making the call to your bank to switch to accelerated mortgage payments? Or maybe it's reaching out to a qualified advisor like Muneris to start building that integrated plan and safety net.
That's a great challenge. That one small step today can prevent those massive compounding costs down the road.
Exactly. Active planning beats passive hope every time.
Couldn't agree more. That wraps up our depth dive into the strategic map for Canadian home ownership. Remember, if you're ready to take that next step and implement a plan with professional guidance, you can reach Muneris Financial Services at 778-898-3202. Thanks so much for joining us.